Atlanta's offensive coordinator. I smell as they say back in the country, I smell a damn rat. Yeah, I'm very, very skeptical when I hear somebody give out a bunch of bouquets, throws roses at this particular cat when you're showing them out the door. Like, from what I understand, it wasn't a big fight. They didn't try to twist Steve Sarkisian's arm down there in Alabama for him to stay on with the Crimson Tide, which is not, once again, a good indicator. Buyer beware. Yeah, buyer beware. At a news conference on Tuesday, Falcons coach Dan Quinn said the team's offensive system won't change with Sarkisian at the helm. And I talked about this a lot yesterday, and you're listening to the Doug Stewart Show. I talked about that same issue a lot yesterday. And reading this stuff, man, it almost seems like that Sarkisian, has the same philosophy, and maybe he does. I'm going to find out more about it today when we talk to D. Orlando Ledbetter from the Atlanta Journal-Constitution. But it almost seems like the big concerns that I had about stability and keeping things the same, we're not going to lose that with bringing in this new coach. Like, the terminology and everything is going to be the same. Here's a quote: "We love the way that we attack, and it took a lot of work to put the system in." Dan Quinn, the head coach of the Falcons, says, "Along with Thomas Dimitroff, we have a real emphasis now on how we can fit guys into that system," talking about the offense. "It's very important that we stay consistent with that." So Dan Quinn sounds a little bit like me in saying that you want to keep the consistency that they had this past year with the offense. You don't want to make too many, different moves and make Matt Ryan have to learn a new playbook over again and, once again, new terminology. So it sounds like that, Sarkisian fits that bill. He says, "I felt, number one, what an aggressive play caller he's been through the years," Quinn said. "He has a real familiarity with the wide zone scheme." Okay, that's fine. The keeper's that such a big part of what we do. So he's familiar with this wide zone scheme that the Falcons run. He has, obviously a sordid past, and looking at Steve Sarkisian over the last couple of years, which we'll get to that here in a second. But this is Matt Ryan's fourth offensive coordinator since 2011. Right. Mike Mularkey, Dirk Cutter, Kyle Shanahan, obviously, and now this is the fourth one, which doesn't bode well. 4 coordinators in, 7 years or 6 years? This is 2011 he had a change. So since 2011, 4 different offensive coordinators for the Atlanta Falcons. That's not a good thing. I don't care how you look at it. About Steve Sarkisian and his recent history. Let's go back to 2008. You're listening to the Doug Stewart Show. Named the head coach at Washington for the Huskies. In 2013, he was named the head coach at USC after they got rid of his boy, Kiffin. In 2015, he was reprimanded after appearing intoxicated at a booster event. Right. That was August of that year. And then December of that year, or October of that year, he was fired from USC. And he says that he was checking into rehab. Very public story. December 7th, he filed a wrongful termination lawsuit against USC. And in 2016, he was hired as an analyst at Alabama. He replaces Lane Kiffin in the national championship game in December. He serves, in 2017, serves as Alabama offensive coordinator in the national championship game once again. And on yesterday, named the Falcons offensive coordinator. You talk about a sprint to the top. You talk about a sprint to a top, or to the top. Quinn says that the Falcons vetted Sarkisian and said there were zero hesitations, zero limitations in deciding to hire him. Desmond Trufant, who played for him at Washington, loves to hire. Defensive back for the Atlanta Falcons, loves to hire. talks about how Sarkisian is just this amped-up coach, and he's this winner, and he wants to do nothing but win. And so he's the new head coach. And from what we're understanding, I don't think it's been confirmed yet, and you're listening to the Doug Stewart Show, I don't think it's been confirmed yet, but Mike LaFleur, the Falcons' quarterbacks coach, is set to be the new offensive coordinator of the Los Angeles Rams. You know, it's just the big theme is, and I don't. This is so fast and it's so quick, man, that it's alarming. You know, once again, it's all about stability and making Matt Ryan comfortable so that he can play at the level that he did this year. And all of the moves being made, man. Brian Cox will no longer be the defensive line coach. They're firing the defensive coordinator. We'll talk more about that here in a second. But they're making a lot of moves in a short amount of time. They just lost the Super Bowl Sunday night. Think about that now. Today is Wednesday. A beautiful day. A beautiful Wednesday. It's Woman Wednesday. They just lost the Super Bowl Sunday night. And this kind of reminds me of the whole scenario in Golden State, where Golden State was up 3-1 in basketball. Golden State was up 3-1 in the NBA Finals to the Cleveland Cavaliers. Somehow they fell apart. Cleveland wins the NBA championship. And Golden State, instead of staying pat, they've already won a championship with the personnel that they had. They go out and make a deal for Kevin Durant. You know, and it may end up working. We'll see. Time will tell. And the Falcons have made so many changes in 3 days. You know, one, they had nothing that they could, they couldn't really stop it with Kyle Shanahan going to be the head coach of the San Francisco 49ers. But all these other little moves, firing the defensive coordinator, getting rid of Brian Cox, bringing in Steve Sarkisian, letting the Mike LaFleur cat leave Atlanta, presumably. And they were up in this game by 25 points in the Super Bowl. They were up in the Super Bowl, at the start of the third quarter. They scored another touchdown in the third quarter, and they were up by 25 points in the Super Bowl. You would think they really don't need to change that many things. Like what you did this year, just continue to do it and just do it at a higher level. All the people that you had around the organization, defensively, man, I think Brian Cox did a fantastic job this year with that defensive line. I mean, how do you lose your job and you coach the unit, the defensive line, you coach the unit that had one of its players be the league leader in sacks? You had two other interior guys in Grady Jarrett and Rashid Hageman, who I think took tremendous steps forward in their game and their execution. You had an old, veteran defensive end in Dwight Freeney, who has lost clearly 2 or 3 steps, performed well. You got after the quarterback this year, and you get rid of Brian Cox. You get rid of your quarterback's coach. You bring in Steve Sarkisian, who for the most part hadn't coached in the NFL at all. I don't know. You're doing too much, like my grandmother would say. You're doing too much. You're doing too much. In 3 days? 3 days. You're doing too much. To quote the great Mary Rivers, my grandmother, God rest her soul, you're doing too much. Sit down somewhere. And once again, just like Golden State, and you're listening to the Doug Stewart Show, brought to you by FireFan.com. Just like Golden State, I mean, it may end up, working out. It may be for the better. Maybe Golden State gets into the NBA championship this year and they sweep whoever they play from the Eastern Conference. Maybe that happens. Maybe, we'll see. Time will tell. But the same thing with the Falcons, man. Damn. I mean, it almost feels a little bit, and you're listening to the Doug Stewart Show, it almost feels a little bit like panic, or, they're moving too fast, obviously, but it almost seems like panic. There's nothing to panic about. Y'all basically fell apart. I mean, it's, outside of that, you dominated the game. You dominated the game. You were up 28-3, a couple minutes into the third quarter. You dominated. You fell apart. Dare I say it, you choked. That's the truth. You're doing too much. And maybe it was a personality conflict with Brian Cox. I don't know. Maybe it was. I don't know. There's always, other sides to the story. But it just seems like that they're doing a lot in a very short time. I also mentioned other changes. The Falcons are relieving Richard Smith, the defensive coordinator, of his duties. And they actually said in the story that I read that he may serve in some other capacity for the team. What? What does that mean? What does that mean? I think everybody agreed this year. I can't wait till we get on D. Orlando Ledbetter, man, because I think he can clear up a lot of this stuff because he's around the team all day, every day. So maybe it's got to be something more to the story we don't get. Richard Smith did a phenomenal job if you look at where the Falcons' defense was at the start of the year to where they ended up. The last 6, 7, 8 weeks, they played phenomenally. They did. In relative terms to the young personnel that they had, they played phenomenally. Why would you relieve him of his job? Once again, that's that stability thing. I don't get it, man. They doing too much. Yeah. What do you think? What are your thoughts? I want to hear what you got to say. What are your thoughts? Steve Sarkisian? Damn, okay. All right, when we get back from the break, man, one little quick story about Julio. He's got some little issues. He got a big toe issue. We'll talk about that. And what I want to do is get your reaction to everything I've just laid out about the Falcons. And are they moving too fast? Is there something I'm missing? I follow this team every day, too. Not to the level of D. Orlando Ledbetter, but I read the Atlanta Journal-Constitution, the sports page, every single day. I probably read the AJC sports page every day for the last 16 years. I don't know. It's starting to scare me now. It's starting to panic a little bit. Your thoughts when we get back. 3 minutes. This is the Doug Stewart Show.
While you burning up, I feel the breeze up the freeway. Ooh, Mary, baby, I answered, could I hear there was nothing she could say? Trust me, boo, I would never. Now, my Mary solitary confined. I find myself dealing with time. Now that she's dealing with time. Dealing with time. Yo. Now I'm in love with this girl, and I never really told her, but I swear she know it cause of the way that I hold her. Don't care that I'm out in the street stuck in the heat, cause she know the more I eat, then the more we meet, then the more I'm having sex with her. It's just the way she smells, her body aroma, I gotta be next to her. With money in my pockets, then I gotta be vexed with her. Mad when I can't touch, mad when I can't nut, but no matter what, that's my shorty. She been there before the yak, the crack, the jacks in the 40s. Love the fact I'm on wax, and they always recording me. She say she want me richer than Barry Gordy, always with other dudes, so she don't mind when I cheat. Just make sure I wrap it up when I'm tapping them freaks. We went from hours to days, from days to weeks. Now I'm in love with this broad till I'm eternally sleep. While you burning up, I feel the breeze up the freeway. Ooh, Mary, baby, I asked her, could I hear there was nothing she could say? Trust me, baby, I would never. Then my Mary solitary confined. I find myself dealing with time. Now that she's dealing with time. Dealing with time. Let me get one more hit. Ooh, Mary, baby, I need you. No matter how rough it get, I can never leave you. Our bond is real strong, like Freeway and Seagull. Even though just knowing you makes me illegal. And it ain't an age thing, dog, she older than me. She got some people calm, some colder than me. Got some people rich and others owing they peeps. And she real flammable, like oils and grease. Since I've been with her, dog, she done changed my life. Turned my lips the same color like white and rice. Let me know who is real and who real tripe. can't front though. She done made me nice on the mic. It's like the more I write, the more I recite, the more I spit. She keep dudes saying I'm tight. Broke up for 3 months once when we had a fight. Now I'ma stay with this chick until it's time to see the light.
You burning up, I feel the breeze up the freeway.